Welcome back, everyone. I'm Patrick Bracken with the Shauna Foundation, and I'm here with ETA, whose short film White Gaze is playing at the as part of the Shorts Program number 3 on Friday, September 22nd at 7:30 at the Hilton Garden in Worcester. It's also been nominated for Best Long Short at the festival. Well-deserved nomination. So welcome, ETA.
Hey, nice having me. Thank you, Patrick.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about your story, how you got into filmmaking.
It's been a wayward journey. I've always loved film. It's been something that's kind of been the heartbeat of my life. Used to go to the video store all the time as a kid, and I had to choose a few different films, one for myself and one for my parents. So early on, I always had to curate for taste. So yeah, it's
Okay,
always been a very important part of my life.
great. Now, for this short, the short is called White Gaze. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means and how you chose that title?
Yeah, actually, it was something I wrote as a little catharsis during quarantine because I had a roommate personally that we didn't vibe very well. Let's put it that way. And eventually, I wanted to make something that I was able to make myself without worrying about grants or having the funding in place. So practically speaking, it was something that I could do in my apartment with my limited funds from my savings. And the title of the movie just kind of evolved from White Room to eventually White Gaze. And I think looking back now, there was a Toni Morrison interview at some point that I watched because during quarantine I had a really strong Toni Morrison phase, and I was watching their interviews. I was reading the books, and they mentioned the white gaze in that, and it's basically, the idea of writing for cultural specificity without acknowledging an audience outside of that. So in that way, it kind of informed that, and it turned into some kind of roommate horror film from there.
Yeah, in the film, it's very similar to what you just described. A non-white person has to take a white woman as a roommate for financial reasons, and although the roommate seems to say some of the right things at first, it quickly goes downhill. But it goes downhill in a way that I think for white audiences might be kind of subtle, but probably for non-white audiences is not subtle at all. So I wanted to ask you about microaggressions and how that plays into this film.
Yeah, I that's actually very interesting, Patrick. That's something that I didn't realize to the degree that I did until after the fact and showing it to certain people and getting feedback. But microaggressions are very interesting because it's something that is culturally probably has a disconnect, right? There's just things that I think being a person of color that seem more profound and resonate more on uh, a, a violent level than a lot of people that are white or not marginalized experience, and they may seem in the moment to be insignificant, but they are definitely red flags that are microaggressions.
Yeah, one of the great things your film does, I watched it a second time recently before this interview, and it's so much clearer to me the second time through. Everything this new roommate says right from the beginning is a red flag, and I didn't get that at first. Um, so this movie is also very much about gentrification. Why did you choose that as a theme for the film?
Yeah, I so like I said earlier, it's shot in my apartment. I in some ways, you know, for socioeconomic reasons, I am a early gentrifier in my neighborhood, and I'm very much aware of that. And obviously, the film is about a Latin person. Um, so I've kind of sat in my room, out my window, staring out, and I've seen the progression over the last 7 to 8 years of how it's changed and how it's changing, and my place in that. And I think with gentrification, it's obviously a byproduct of colonialism. There's symbolic um, connections there. But I think that there's a difference when you're moving into a neighborhood and you're adapting to it and embracing it and supporting the local community, and people that move in looking to change it to have it feel safer for them and their cultural background. And I think it was important for me to acknowledge my place in that, but also to show the differentiation between that and White Gaze.
Yeah, it's very effective. The film builds slowly, and I think it's one of the more terrifying short films I've seen in a while. Even though it's very much grounded in reality, it still feels like a horror film too. So very effective. What's next for you after that? I mean, White Gaze is playing the festival circuit. What's happening next?
Yeah, I also have a documentary that's playing the festival circuit right now. It's called Confluence, a meditation and documentary form. It's really like the entire opposite of White Gaze. It's very slow, meditative. Um, but I'm working on a few things right now. I think there's some Easter eggs in White Gaze that I set up to make it a kind of anthology. And I think I'm going to pursue that eventually. It's called Trauma Response. It's name dropped in White Gaze. Uh, gonna veer more towards my Asian American background and see if I can find some truth in that. But I'm a genre fluid filmmaker, so I have a few different projects that I want to pursue. I think I want to get out of enclosed space and do some more wide angles and work in the romantic side. Uh, but there's a few different things that I'm kind of pursuing right now.
All right, so sounds great. Can't wait to see what's next. I encourage everyone out there to see White Gaze. Again, it's showing as part of the Shorts program number 3, Friday, September 22nd, 7:30 at the Hilton Garden Inn in Worcester. Uh, ETA, congratulations on your film, and good luck with what comes next.
Thank you. Thank you, Patrick, for having me. Everybody that goes sees the movie, please uh, have a great time, enjoy it. And if you find me in the socials, I would love to have a conversation and connect with you. So thank you.
All right, great. Thank you.